Hi everyone, today I am going to explain how to draw bond line structure of organic compound. Okay, now here there are some points we need to remember and we need to know bond line formula. First one is only carbon bond carbon represented, means only the bond between carbon and carbon is represented. That is the first point. Second point is carbon and hydrogen atoms are not represented in a bond line formula. Okay, third point is heteroatom are always represented. Third point is heteroatoms are always represented. Heteroatoms means the atoms other than carbon and hydrogen atoms. Those atoms what we call heteroatoms. For example, nitrogen is heteroatom and oxygen is heteroatom and sulfur is also heteroatom. Means all the atoms other than carbon and hydrogen. Those atoms what we call heteroatom. Those heteroatoms are represented. Then fourth point is carbon bond carbon is drawn in a zigzag fashion. Zigzag fashion means this, like this, zigzag fashion. Okay, and fifth point is double bond is represented by 2 bonds and triple bond is represented by 3 bonds. Okay now, but one important point is triple bond is always represented in a straight line in a bond line formula. These are the 5 points we need to know. Next, by taking example I'll explain. Here I have taken one example. Okay now, first thing we have to select the longest chain. Here this is a one longest chain, correct? Now here there is a no side substituents are present. Okay, now in this chain how many carbons are there, that one we have to count. Here one how many carbons in this example, that one we have to count. This is a 1 carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon. So we have to write a 4 point in a zigzag manner. Now all the point represent the carbon atoms. Okay, this one between these to make a 1 bond and between these to make a 1 bond and between these to make a 1 bond. Now this point what we call carbon number 1, and second this point what we call carbon 2, this one what we call carbon 3, this one what we call carbon 4. Now here see only the bond between first carbon and second carbon, here this bond we represented, and between these two whatever the bond is that one we represented. Means only we have to represent the bond between carbon and carbon, not a bond between carbon and hydrogen. Here to the first carbon 3 hydrogens are attached, but here we should not show. To the second carbon 2 hydrogens are attached, but we should not show in a bond line formula. Third carbon also 2 hydrogen, but we should not show in a bond line formula. And fourth carbon attached with a 3 hydrogen, but we should not show. Only we have to show a bond between carbon and carbon. Okay, this is the first example answer. And then second example here. Now here we have to select the longest chain. Longest chain means this is the longest chain. Now in this longest chain how many carbons are there, means 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbons are present. Okay now next this 4 carbon means the 4 dot we have to write in a zigzag fashion. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay now between these to make a bond and between these to make a bond and between these to make a bond. Okay, this 1 point indicates 1 carbon, this is a second carbon, this is a third carbon, this is a fourth carbon. Okay now next to the second carbon one more methyl group is attached, means to the second carbon one more carbon is present. Okay, now in a bond line formula only the bond between carbon and carbon we have to represent. So here to the second carbon one more carbon is attached, so that one we have to represent by 1 bond. Okay now this one dot indicates this carbon. Okay, this is a bond line formula for a second example. Now here for third, similarly here also we have to select the longest chain. This is the longest chain. In this longest chain how many carbons we have to count? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 carbon we have to write in a zigzag manner. So for a 4 carbon I will write a 4 point in a zigzag manner. Now between this point I will write a bond like this. Okay now this is the first carbon, this is a second carbon, this is a third carbon, and this is a fourth carbon. Now see here in this example to the second carbon one more carbon is attached. between carbon and carbon bond is there. If a bond is there means that bond we have to represent in a bond length formula. So to the second carbon one more carbon is attached, so I'll show here like this. Okay na, this point indicates this carbon. Okay na, now to the third carbon also one more carbon is attached, so here to the third carbon one more carbon. Okay, this is a bond length formula for third example. Now fourth example, this is very easy. Now select the longest chain. Here only one chain is there. Now in this chain how many carbon atoms are there? First we have to count. 1 2 3 4 5. 5 means the 5 dot I'll write in a zigzag manner. 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot, 4 dot, 5 dot. Okay na, and make a bond between these points or dot. Okay now this is the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon. That's it. Okay, this is the bond length formula for this fourth example. Next okay, this is the fifth example. Now here how many carbons are there in a one? Only one chain is there. Okay, this one we consider as the longest chain. Now here how many carbons means 1 carbon, 2 carbon, 3 carbon, 4 carbon. Okay, all the 4 carbon I will represent in a zigzag manner. Okay na, means 1 carbon, each carbon is represented by a dot. 1 2 3 4, 4 carbon, so 4 dot. Okay na, and this dot we have to connect with a bond. Okay na, now this one what we call first carbon, this is second carbon, this is third carbon, this is fourth carbon. Now next between first and second carbon, between first and second carbon 2 bonds are present. Between first and second carbon here I wrote only one bond, but in example 2 bonds are present, so here between first and second carbon I will write one more bond. This is a bond length formula for fifth example. Understood? Now here one more example, this is very important. Now here in this example double bond is also present and triple bond is also present. Okay, now how to write? One point I said earlier, triple bond always we have to represent in a bond length formula as a straight line. Okay now here see, here longest chain means this is only a longest chain. Okay na, here how many carbons are there? 1 2 3 4 carbons. Okay na, 4 carbons how to represent? In a zigzag manner except this 2 carbon. Okay na, why? Because between third and fourth carbon triple bond present, and triple bond always we have to represent in a straight line. Okay na, now I'll write like this: first carbon, second carbon, third carbon. Between first and second carbon double bond is present. This is the first carbon, this is the second carbon, this is the third carbon. Between first and second carbon 2 bonds are present. Between these two bonds, so 2 bonds. Okay na, second and third carbon only one bond, so connect with only one bond. Okay na, now next between third and fourth carbon how many bonds? 3 bonds. Always we have to represent 3 bonds in a straight chain. This is a third and this is a fourth. This is a fourth. Okay na, this is a third carbon, this is a fourth carbon. Between third and fourth how many bonds? 1 2 3. So here one more bond and here one more bond. This is a bond length formula for a fifth example. Okay na, now again the sixth one. Here this is the longest chain, correct? In this longest chain only one chain is there, that is the longest chain. We have to consider this is the first carbon, this is the second carbon, this is the third carbon, this is the fourth carbon. Okay, next in this example there are 2 carbon containing triple bond. Okay na, means 2 times triple bond are present in this structure, correct? Between the carbon here between one and second carbon and first carbon triple bond present, and third carbon and fourth carbon triple bond is present. So how we have to write? Carbon, not a carbon, sorry, this is a one dot and this is a one dot. This dot indicate carbon number 1, carbon number 2. Okay na, now this is the carbon number 3, carbon number 4. Between carbon number 1 and 2 how many bonds? 3 bonds, and 3 bonds we have to represent with the bonds like this. Okay na, next second and third carbon make a bond, and between third and fourth carbon triple bond present, and we know that triple bond always we have to write in a straight line. Okay na, like this. This is a bond length formula for this sixth one. Okay now. Now seventh one. Now this is also very important. Say, select the longest chain. This is a longest chain. Oh no, there is only one longest chain. Here, this is first one, this is second one, this is third one, this is fourth one. Correct? Next, this 4 carbon we have to represent in a zigzag manner like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct? And between first, this is considered as the first carbon, this is second, this is third, this is fourth. Between first and second, one bond, so write like this. Between second and third, one more bond, write like this. Between third and fourth, one more bond, write like this. Okay now. Next, one more thing is here, to the second carbon, oxygen and hydrogen. This oxygen what we call heteroatom. Already in our key points I said heteroatoms are always represented. Here I already explained heteroatoms are always represented in a bond line formula. So here oxygen is a heteroatom. Heteroatom means what? Other than carbon and hydrogen. Those atoms what we call heteroatom. So heteroatom we have to represent in a bond line formula. So means represent means we have to write as it is oxygen. Now to the oxygen, hydrogen also we have to write. Okay na, heteroatom, the hydrogen, if it is attached with the heteroatom, then only that hydrogen we have to write. If a hydrogen, if it is attached with the carbon, then that hydrogen we should not write in a bond line formula. Understood? This is a bond line formula for this example. Now here one more example. 1, 2, 3. Now this is the longest chain you consider. First carbon, second carbon, third carbon. Write in a zigzag manner like this. Okay, this is the first carbon, this is the second carbon, this is the third carbon. Between first and second, write one bond. And first and second only one bond. Okay na. Second and third, one more bond. Okay na. Now next term, to the second carbon, 2 groups are attached. Correct? Here one is methyl group and another one also methyl group. Correct? Now between carbon and carbon one bond is there. Correct? Now in a bond line formula, the bond between carbon and carbon we have to represent. So to the second carbon, one CH3 group, that one we have to represent like this, one dot only. Correct? Now here to this carbon, one more CH3 group, that one we have to write like this. Correct? Now to the third carbon, N is attached. N means what? That is a heteroatom. Correct? And in a bond line formula, heteroatom we have to represent, we have to show. Okay na? To the third carbon, what is attached? N, that is a N group. To the N, hydrogens are attached. So hydrogens we have to represent. Why? Because hydrogens are with heteroatom. That's why we have to show in a bond line formula. Suppose here see, hydrogens are attached with a carbon. If hydrogens are attached with a carbon means we should not show in a bond line formula. Correct? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 to the second carbon, 2 methyl group, and between these two one bond I represented here. Between these two one more bond I represented here. This is a bond line formula for the 8th example. Now here 9th example. Very simple. Here also, how many carbons are there? This is a one cyclic ring. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In a one cycle, how many carbons? Means 6 carbons. Okay na? All the 6 carbons I'll represent like this. This is 1 dot, second dot, third dot, 4 dot, 5 dot, 6 dot. This is first carbon, second carbon, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Now between first and fourth carbon, one more carbon is present between these two. Between first and fourth, between first and fourth, one more carbon is there, that is represented by dot, and between this one I'll represent as a star. Okay na? And to the first carbon and star carbon, between these two one bond is there, so I'll write a bond as like this. And between this star and fourth carbon bond is there, so I'll write the bond like this. Correct? This is a bond line formula for 9th example. And here for 10th example, that's the last example. Here also, this is also cyclic form. How many carbons? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth carbon. All 6 carbon I'll write in a cyclic form. Correct? This is a 1 dot 2 3 4 5 6. First carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon, sixth carbon. Now see, between first and second carbon double bond is present. Between first and second carbon only I wrote here single bond, but here double bond is present, so write here one more bond. And between third and fourth carbon one more bond, and between fifth and sixth carbon one more bond. So this is a bond length formula for 10th example. Thank you very much.